Hey class, today I'm going to tell you a little bit about MindNode 5, which is an app that you're going to use to help complete your podcast projects. In this app, you will first see mind map in this little area that they call a node. And to edit the words mind map, you just double click. And you have to edit this because you want this to say whatever it is that you're working on. So today I'm going to write podcast because that's what we're doing as a class. And now that I have that typed in, I'm just going to click off of it and it is set. Now I want to make some more nodes with topics that I'm going to either talk about or things that I want to think about or things that I have to do in order to make the podcast. So to do that, I'm going to right click and I'm going to select create new main node, and that gives me a new space. And for this one I'm going to write poetry because that's the topic that I'm going to be talking about in my podcast. I'm going to make another node, and this one's going to be list of poets because I'd like you guys to make a list of poets. And since we're there, I'm going to go ahead and add a few nodes so we can put in some poets that we like. And to do that, I just hit that plus sign. I'm going to go ahead and hit it a couple of times so that I can put some more poets in there. And this one popped up on the other side, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put Nikki Giovanni as an example. And I just hit enter, and I'm going to go ahead and drag that over here so that it's going to be with my other list names. And I'm going to go ahead and connect all of this over with poetry. So I just select a list of poets and click on it until it turns blue, and then I click it over, drag it over to poetry until poetry lights up. Okay, so it's connected. So I have a list of poets, I have Nikki Giovanni, and let's say my group's working on this. I want to go ahead and add a note as to who is going to specifically work on Nikki Giovanni. So I go up here to the right hand side and I click notes and I click in there, and I'm going to just go ahead and say Jackie. She's in our group and she's going to work on Nikki Giovanni, and I click out, and you can tell that I've made a note by these little lines next to Nikki Giovanni. I also want you guys to add pictures of the poets that you're talking about so that you can visualize them. And to do that, you're going to go up to the center and click this mountain with the sun behind it. It's an image icon, and it'll open the photos that you have saved to the computer. And here I have Nikki Giovanni. I'm going to just go ahead and drag her over to her name until I see that green positive sign. And I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller because it's kind of big. And so you see these little squares, I just click on them and drag them in until I have the size I want. And that's really good. To add biographical information, I'm going to click on Nikki Giovanni. I'm going to go up to this plus sign and this dot dash dash dash. Doing that gives me this line, and I'm going to click off to the side. It gives me a new node, and I can put biographical information, and I can do as many of those as I would like. So I can do little facts there. That might be good to bring up when we're talking in the podcast and things that I'd like my group members to know about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drag poetry down to podcast so I can link it all together. And also you can make checklists in MindNode 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that very quickly. I'm going to add a new node, and I'm going to make this the writing process. And I'm going to go ahead and connect it to podcast, and I'm going to drag it over to this other side. And add a new node, and we're going to go up to this circle check mark, click that, and for each item on your list you're going to do that. So we have pre-writing, and then I'm going to add a new node. Oh, so and then it just went ahead and automatically made it a checklist for me. So drafting and add another one. I'm just going to put etc. because you guys know the writing process. So every time you finish a step, you just click on it and it checks it off. All right, this is the very basics of MindNode 5, and I'll be here to help you guide you through this process. But I hope this helped you today. Bye.